Silence does not arrive suddenly. It grows slowly, layer by layer, until it becomes the only thing that feels real. Victor stands within the cold, not searching for answers, but listening to what remains after everything else has faded. The air around him feels older than memory, heavier than thought. This place does not speak, yet it remembers. Time here does not move forward. It circles, it returns. Each breath feels measured, as if the world itself is counting along with him. The cold no longer presses against the body alone. It settles deeper into awareness, into the spaces where certainty once lived. The world he came from still exists somewhere beyond this frozen enclosure, but it feels distant now, as if separated by more than distance. Separated by understanding. What once felt like survival now feels like recognition. The cold is no longer an enemy. It is a condition, a state that must be accepted. Victor does not resist the stillness. He allows it to remain, to define the edges of his thoughts. Nothing rushes him here. Nothing demands movement. The silence does not ask questions. It waits. And in that waiting, something begins to take shape, quietly, inevitably. There is no signal to move forward, no sign to turn back. Only the quiet certainty that remaining still is no longer enough. Somewhere beneath the silence, a shift has already begun. Not loud, not sudden, but irreversible. The stillness does not remain empty. It begins to fill, not with sound, but with weight. What Victor feels now is not memory itself, but the space where memory gathers. A quiet pressure, shaping thought before image, meaning before detail. The cold around him feels less like an environment and more like a boundary, a line between what is held and what is waiting to return. Breath slows, the mind sharpens. Nothing intrudes, nothing distracts. Only the gradual narrowing between the present moment and something long buried beneath it. He does not search for the past. It approaches on its own, patient, unhurried, as if it has always known when it would be allowed to surface. The present begins to loosen its grip, not collapsing, not fading, but stepping aside. Its urgency diminishes, its authority weakens. Here, in this suspended quiet, Victor becomes aware of how much has been carried forward, how much has been left unresolved, how much has waited without demand. The silence deepens, not as absence, but as preparation. A space cleared, not for answers, but for return. What comes next will not announce itself. It will arrive fully formed, because it has never truly left. And Victor stands ready. Not in resistance, not in fear, but in recognition as the boundary between now and then continues to thin. The moment does not break, it settles. What has been gathering now takes form, not as memory replayed, but as understanding restored. The past does not rush in. It arrives with clarity, quiet and complete. Victor feels the weight of it, not as burden, but as truth. What was once distant now stands close enough to be acknowledged. There is no struggle here, no resistance, only the calm awareness that what shaped him cannot be undone. The cold recedes further, not vanishing, but losing its hold. The present loosens, making room for what has always waited beneath it. Here, in this suspended space, time no longer demands direction. Forward and backward lose their meaning. Only continuity remains. Victor does not turn away. He allows the moment to remain, to define itself without interference. Nothing needs to be explained. Nothing needs to be spoken. What follows will emerge naturally, not from choice, but from consequence, not from intention, but from what has already been set in motion. The silence closes gently, not as an ending, but as a seal. A quiet agreement between what was, what is, and what will follow. Nothing is resolved here. Nothing is denied. What remains is held quietly, without urgency. The silence accepts this, and so does he. And in that agreement, the journey continues.